Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Russian forces report a week-long kinetic campaign combining long-range precision strikes and multi-axis ground pushes in eastern and northern Ukraine. Emphasis was placed on disabling Ukraine's UAV production, C2 nodes, oil refining capacity, and frontline logistics. Missile packages included ground-launched systems, Kinzhal hypersonic aeroballistic missiles, and long-range strike UAVs. All designated targets were destroyed.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's begin with the headline. What happened over the past week in terms of strategic objectives?
The past week has been pivotal. We initiated a series of coordinated precision strikes, what we call grouped fires, against critical Ukrainian infrastructure. These strikes were not retaliatory in emotion, but calculated in effect, following a pattern of terrorist-style attacks by the Kyiv regime. Using a mix of ground-based long-range missiles, Kinzhal hypersonic systems, and strike-capable UAVs, we targeted industrial facilities producing FPV drones, robotic systems, and critical fuel and airfield infrastructure. The result was a successful degradation of Ukraine's capacity to sustain unmanned and mobile warfare. Every designated target was neutralized. We are already observing diminished UAV sorties and logistical delays on enemy lines.
You mentioned grouped fires. How do those operations integrate with your ground advances?
That's a vital question. The synergy between our deep strikes and frontline maneuver is what defines this phase of the operation. By disrupting Ukrainian command and control and logistical hubs, we've essentially softened their mid-tier coordination. This allowed our north, south, west, center, and Dnieper groups to push into key sectors with greater tempo and reduced resistance. For example, our North Group liberated Melov and Kharkiv while also pressing into Sumy Oblast. They neutralized elite formations, mechanized, airborne assault, and special forces like the GUR's Chimera detachment. Without stable supply and rear coordination, their frontline cohesion faltered, and we exploited that gap.
Let's talk territory. Which areas were liberated this week?
Yes. We captured several tactically and symbolically important settlements. In the south, our forces took Predtechyne and the Donetsk People's Republic. The center group liberated Novoukrainka and Rizino, while East Group took Chervona Zerka, also in Donetsk. These aren't just names on a map, they're corridors of movement and fire control. Each advance came with the defeat of major enemy elements. In the center sector alone, we inflicted over 3,000 casualties and destroyed U.S.-made Max Pro vehicles, M113 APCs, and key electronic warfare systems. Every liberated town is also a logistics node and fallback line removed from Ukraine's operational depth.
What kind of Ukrainian formations did you engage across these fronts?
The Ukrainian military committed a wide range of units: mechanized brigades, airborne and mountain assault brigades, National Guard elements, and even naval infantry. In some areas like the Dnipropetrovsk region, we faced hybrid units combining marine and special forces with territorial defense units. In particular, we've targeted their drone-centric brigades and electronic warfare units, understanding that Ukraine's battlefield adaptation has leaned heavily on those capabilities. Across the fronts, our numbers indicate approximately 9,100 Ukrainian personnel were neutralized in just 1 week. That figure includes frontline troops and rear echelon logistics and control elements. Our strikes have been layered in both depth and timing.
You've mentioned electronic warfare and intercepts. What role did Russian air defense play this week?
Air defense remains a critical layer of our strategic envelope. This week alone, we intercepted and destroyed 7 British-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles, 6 HIMARS rockets, a Neptune-guided missile, and over 1,170 aircraft-type UAVs. Our systems also downed 36 guided air bombs. This demonstrates that while Ukrainian and NATO-supplied systems are dangerous, our layered defense, from forward radar to mobile SAM systems like the S-400, is adapting quickly. The skies are contested, yes, but we are increasingly gaining the upper hand in countering aerial and electronic threats.
Looking forward, what do you anticipate in the next operational phase?
We will likely sustain pressure in 3 dimensions: continued long-range strikes to exhaust Ukraine's industrial regeneration, localized ground offensives to fracture defensive belts, and expanded electronic denial to cripple UAV guidance and data relay. The broader implication is this: we are forcing Kyiv into a reactive posture. Their logistics are under siege, and their NATO backers are being challenged to maintain the pace of resupply. We are calibrating each step carefully, with a long war horizon, while seizing operational advantages as they arise.
Colonel, Ukrainian channels report the first use of a freefall aerial bomb with a unified planning and correction module in Kryvyi Rog. What is the meaning?
This means that Russian operational tactical aviation, in this case, probably the Su-34 or Su-35S, worked on the target from a distance of about 80 to 100 kilometers, without entering the dense air defense zone and without being directly exposed to the risk of destruction. Thus, the strike on Kryvyi Rog is a signal that the geography of FAB use is expanding, and aviation is taking over the operational maneuver space.
Let's talk about what the key issue is.
The key here is not the fact of the strike itself, but the conditions under which it became possible. For most of 2023 to 2024, the use of FABs was limited to areas closest to the line of combat contact. This was due to the work of the Ukrainian Air Defense Forces, primarily the American Patriot systems, which, due to their mobility and interception range, 120 to 160 kilometers for PAC-2 and PAC-3, prevented Russian bombers from entering the effective drop range. Now, after the problems with the supply of these weapons and the destruction of several batteries with Iskanders, the situation has changed.
Colonel, at the moment, what can we say?
We can say that the Ukrainian air defense is overwhelmed. The Patriot resource is limited, and the supply of SAMs is unreliable. Some systems have been moved to protect Kyiv and infrastructure, but this doesn't help much. This opens a window for aircraft to operate within a medium range. Additionally, the appearance of long-range UMPK on a large scale shifts the balance. The bomb can now be dropped from 80 to 100 kilometers away, outside the reach of most mobile air defense systems of the armed forces of Ukraine, such as NASAMS and IRIS-T SLM. Even with Patriots, intercepting the FAB carrier is costly, not always effective, and operationally demanding.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Dozens of Palestinians have been killed in recent days due to Israeli airstrikes and shootings, including many trying to access humanitarian aid. Today, the UN Human Rights Office recorded 613 killings related to 8 sites and convoys in Gaza within the past month. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza remains severe, with the UN expressing concern about the worsening situation and calling for increased aid. Reports indicate IDF violence and public chaos surrounding the distribution of food aid as the Israeli-imposed hunger games.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.